Hey, great to have you. Welcome to the program. Thanks. It's the Joe Pag Show. Great radio stations across the land. iHeartRadio, Newsmax TV, joepags.com on a Wednesday. That is a hump day. Start the week at the bottom of the hill on a Monday morning. Get through Monday, get through Tuesday, get through Wednesday. After Wednesday, head straight downhill to the weekend from here. But it's always our job to check in with Fergie.
My hump, my hump.
Day.
My hump, my hump, my hump.
Day.
My hump, my hump, my hump.
Day.
My hump, my hump, my hump. Check it out.
We are checking it out. Glad to have you. Thanks a lot for stopping by. There's a lot going on today. Carrie, what's going on? Anything good?
How are you?
You know, we've got a lot of things happening. Lots of things going on. Lots of things bubbling up. Trump's health, Hillary's health, new polling that's out. By the way, Carrie's my news anchor, general pain in the neck. Also, a big-time college football coach comes out and talks about people not standing for the national anthem. For some reason, the media is pretending like he just said it out of the blue. He was asked a question about it. And pretending that it was something other than that is just bad journalism. But then again, in this day and age, we pretty much expect bad journalism. I mean, I give you a hard time, but we don't expect the bad journalism from you because you actually do an okay job. I mean, some would argue that, but I think you do. I think you do a pretty good job. But a reporter, a so-called reporter, asks him about what he would do if one of his players decided to not stand for the anthem. Would he punish the player? It's already a loaded question. I mean, you're asking a loaded question. Would you punish the player for not standing up during the national anthem? And his answer was really, really good. His name is Dabo Swinney. Does he say Swinney or Sweeney? It is Sweeney, is it not? Although I
thought it was Swinney.
I mean, it's spelled Swinney, Swinney. First name Dabo. He is the head football coach at Clemson University. We'll get into that in a second. And we're also going to get into later, we'll get into why do people keep protesting? And it's not as general a question as you might think. To what end? Because, simple question, if nobody ever gave in to the protests, they'd stop, wouldn't they? I mean, if they're not fruitful, why do you keep on doing it? It'd be kind of a waste of time. So this week when it comes to Kaepernick, who, again, would be irrelevant because he's a backup now, other than the fact that he's sitting for the anthem or kneeling now for the anthem, which somehow is supposed to be more respectful, which doesn't make sense. Doesn't really seem to understand what it is that he's trying to protest or stop or start or whatever. But if we didn't react to it, would people keep on protesting? Like this Bradley Manning idiot who, I guess, stole some sort of secrets and faced charges for it and then decided his real name is Chelsea and he's really a girl. And this person has been protesting, too. Did you hear about the hunger strike?
No, I didn't know he was undergoing a hunger
Bradley
strike.
Manning, a male, chromosomally, DNA-wise, and genetically, has decided that he's a female named Chelsea and decided to go on a hunger strike until we, the taxpayers, were on the hook to pay for gender reassignment surgery. For those older, that means a sex change. So, was he successful? I'll let you know.
I'm going to say, okay.
No answer.
Guess, okay.
I did not ask you what do you think. I'll ask you that in a little while. By the way, the new deal that we did on the show yesterday called What Do You Think? It's actually, What Do You Think?
That's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that new thing that we did, holy mackerel, man. I mean, people were writing me about that topic the rest of the night. And I found that to be really, really cool.
And I'm sorry, who gave you that story?
It was, I believe it was somebody I met at the gym. I'm pretty sure somebody at the gym said, hey, why don't you do this?
No one at the gym.
No, you gave me the story, and I kept on getting, and for those who didn't see it or hear it, we talked about it yesterday about a police officer in West Virginia who was fired for not killing a guy. And did you notice that Kaepernick immediately got on that story? Did you know that he grabbed that story immediately?
Yeah, he tweeted about
Look at this. Now we're firing cops for not killing black people. What? The man had a gun. The people around there were unsafe. Now, there are a lot of people who disagree with my take yesterday. That's fine. We're allowed to do that. But the overriding question here is, if we don't give in to the protests or don't shine light on the protests probably go away. And maybe, just maybe, my team, the Miami Dolphins, make me cry, can start focusing on learning how to play football and not about who's going to sit down, who's going to stand up, who's going to do something in between. So Dabo Swinney is the head football coach over at Clemson. And some reporter decides, I'm going to ask this guy what he would do, if anything, to a player who decides to not stand for the national anthem. Would you punish the player? And here's the back and forth. And he's not politically correct. Everything he says, you could tell, is from his heart, from his soul. There are people on my Facebook, on my Twitter, lighting up. He's some sort of a racist Christian now because of what he had to say. And by the way, he like I do often, references Martin Luther King Jr. And the far left-wing progressives that Martin Luther King Jr. did not agree with whatsoever. He was a Christian conservative, MLK was. Those in the far left want to co-opt Martin Luther King Jr. because of his skin tone. Not because of what he stood for or what he said, because what he stood for and what he said was certainly conservative. It was certainly Christian. It was certainly about equal opportunity and equal treatment for all people. Those in the far left don't want equality. They want some sort of revenge, which is kind of odd. So here's what Dabo, I think it's Dabo, right? It's not Dabo, is it? It's Dabo. I'm not a big Clemson guy, but I think it's Dabo.
Yeah.
Dabo Swinney asked about what he would do if one of his players decided not to stand for the national anthem.
Players, if he chose not to stand for the national anthem.
Would I discipline one of my players? Well, we don't really have the national anthem, but I would just say that I don't think that, no, I wouldn't discipline my player for that. I think everybody has a right to express themselves.
Now, he could have stopped there. I would not discipline the player. Everybody has the right to express himself. But then he says, you see him thinking, and you see the gears turning in his head, and you can start to hear his blood start to pump a little bit harder, and he's going to go ahead and jump into the fray. You want to ask me a question like that? Get ready for my answer.
In that regard. But I don't think it's good to be a distraction to your team. I don't think it's good to use the team as the platform.
And I'll stop it there. Nobody but well, a couple of people have said it, but they've been called racists. It's not okay to use your team as the platform. Not okay to distract from the team. I mean, think about it. The word team means that, all for one. You're trying to win a game. You're trying to achieve something together. You're trying to use your drive and hard work and ambition to get somewhere. But he very wisely says, I agree with your ability to do so. And he'll get into this. There are some problems, but it's not okay to be a distraction to your team. It's not okay to use the team as the platform. Love it.
I totally disagree with that. Nobody's really asked me about Kaepernick or whatever, but
I love how he just doesn't know how to pronounce his name, Kaepernick or whatever.
I totally disagree with that. Not his protest, but I just think there's a right way to do things.
And again, now he's flowing, and now he's going to get into how you could do this. And I'm just going to pat myself on the back a little bit here. I mean, I never do this, but I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. I said this 2-3 weeks ago. That's not the right place. It's not the right forum. It's not the right platform. You can do it other ways. Swinney continues.
And I don't think two wrongs make a right. Never have, never will. And I think that it just creates more divisiveness, more division. It's sad to me to see what's going on in this country. I think it creates more division. I think there's a better way. How about, he called press conference. Express your feelings. Everybody will show up. Talk.
They will. Everybody will show up. He could not be more correct. It's Colin freaking Kaepernick. He used to be the starting quarterback. He started for the San Francisco 49ers in a Super Bowl. They lost, but he started in that Super Bowl. I mean, here's a guy that was the up-and-coming rising star, prototypical new kind of quarterback. Everybody would show up if he wore a shirt about Castro and about Malcolm X and talked about the social injustice. Everybody, listen, the media eats this crap up. He didn't have to use his team in that form and fashion.
Talk about it. Express yourself. Go and be a part of things and protest them and do. That's great. I mean, I think everybody has that right, and I certainly respect that. But I just think that this just creates more division, and that's what I hate to see, and I hate to see what's going on in our country. I really do, because I think this is a good world. I think this is a great country. It's just that things get painted with a broad brush around in this world these days. There's a lot of good. There's more good than bad in this world. And I think, you look at, I think one of the greatest leaders this world has ever seen was Martin Luther King.
Oh, man. White man said Martin Luther King. White man, sound the siren, sound the alarm. White man dared say Martin Luther King. I don't know what that was. It was like an English Bobby siren. I'm not really sure. See, he was going farther away. You could actually hear it change. So here's a white coach at Clemson University who dares invoke the name Martin Luther King Jr. And the internet had an explosion over it. And you know what? What he has to say next makes perfect sense, and we'll have it for you when we come back. Your thoughts on what Dabo Swinney, a big-time coach at a big-time program, had to say about Colin Kaepernick. Again, keep in mind, he was asked the question. He didn't walk out and say, okay, I want to talk about social justice, police shootings, I don't want to talk about black people. He didn't say any of that. He was asked the question by a reporter, and he did not get in line and say, I could fully support Colin Kaepernick. In fact, I'd like to sit down with him to really prove it. He didn't do that. He actually used some common sense logic and some love of country. And he's even going to say Jesus pretty soon. What?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, he's going to say Jesus. And he's going to say it, and it's going to freak people out. 1-800-383-9624, joepags.com. Stay here.